Evening, everybody. Good to see you all again. Welcome to the IOC session press conference. And we are being followed away from here as well, so there will be some questions from outside as well. I have with me, obviously, on the podium, I have the President, Kirsty Coventry. Thank you very much for being here. And I have Executive Director of the Games, Kristoff Doobie. Thank you, Kristoff. There is simultaneous interpretation, English and French, via the app. And without further ado, I think we will have a few comments from the President, and then we'll get into the Q&A as quickly as we can. So, President, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Hi to everybody. Nice to see you all again. Last time it was just on.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, am I dreaming this? Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all here this evening, just a few days away from the opening ceremony that we're all very excited about. I think the last time I saw you, there's been a couple really nice things that we've gotten to experience. So we had the IOC session yesterday and today, and before that, the executive board got to spend some time with our athletes commission. And part of that was going to the village in Milan with our athletes commission and getting to hang out with the athletes in that village, have some lunch, which was awesome. That was my favorite part of the village, is the dining hall, because you got to see everyone coming together. So that was really, really beautiful. The athletes were super happy. They had really good experience coming into the village and getting set up, and a lot of them were going off to their venues. So that was yeah, really nice. Put everything into perspective, that we're here for them, and their excitement is very cool to see. It's an energy that you can walk out of that village being very energized with. We had good session day yesterday, where we predominantly focused on a lot of our institutional stuff in the morning, and then listening from all of our different organizing committees, which was great. Had some really good updates there. Today, it's been a long day, so I'm trying to think where we started this morning. We had a really great report, the final formal one from Emma Tero, our Athlete Commission Chair, which we are so grateful for. She's been an incredible chair, an incredible leader, a number of things being put into place with her leading the commission, and with the Athletes Commission doing some great work. And then we went into hearing a little bit of an update from the working groups, or some of the working groups, on Fit for the Future. And then we went into our Sustainability Awards, which was really nice, from the Olympic movement, all those different stakeholders that are doing great things in their communities in sustainable ways. Then we went into a membership workshop, where we got to really have a lot more in-depth conversations around all the feedback that we have received to date. And really, we're at a pivoting point. So we've received all of those consultations. We've gone through all of that, and we were reporting back to the members to sort of show where we all have a lot of alignment, where we have a lot of multiple views on different topics, and where we potentially can go forward with that, and the work that now is going to take between now and June. Obviously, we're all a little bit busy in the next 2 weeks, as we should be here for Milano-Cortina, but as soon as the games are finished, the focus will switch a little bit to Dakar 2026, but also to Fit for the Future and different strategies and recommendations that we will work together. I think that was kind of it. Obviously, yeah, very happy to answer any more questions in detail, but really I just want to take the opportunity to also thank all the different stakeholders, the athletes, for their feedback, the IFs, the NOCs, the TOPs and partners, and all of you guys as well, and even our headquarters in Lausanne and Madrid for all of their feedback. It's really, really invaluable as we sort of charter this new course. So just wanted to say thank you to everybody for that.
Super. Thank you very much. As I say, you saw the session, so just the session this afternoon that was in camera. So let's start over here with, yeah. Just here? Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. Well, I was going to suggest we had Chinese media there, but yeah, both of you.
So
either
you
or.
Share.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mark. Question for President. Question from CMG Yolu. First of all, I got a little bit emotional because today is the 4th anniversary of Beijing 2022. So I'm wondering, do you still have any unforgettable memory of Beijing 2022? And from Beijing to Milan, how could the Olympic movement carry its legacy and embrace innovations? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the reminder of it's exactly the anniversary 4 years ago. Obviously, we were all under different conditions, but I think some of the fondest memories that I have, we had really an incredible experience because from a membership point of view, we really got to spend a lot of time together. And going to events, seeing the athletes, for me, that was one of the best things that we saw from Tokyo and Beijing is just how hard everybody worked in ensuring that the athletes would still be able to compete and have their moment, even though it was very different, right? And it's very different to Paris, it's very different to here, where they're going to have family and friends and spectators and everyone's all excited. But it was really still, I think, very powerful to see how much it meant to the athletes that they could compete. And I got to go into the village, well, not into the village, into some of the areas close to the athletes, and you could just see the excitement that they had. And I think those will be really the memories. In terms of the innovation and technology, there's so many things and trials that we used in Beijing 2022, and especially when it comes to the venue twinning that we've used now and we used for Paris, we'll continue to use, and obviously that technology will be upgraded and it will be made even better and more reliable. And so I think there's so many good lessons learned. I think also how to repurpose venues, that's something that sticks out to me, and how we're able to do that here with the Oval, if I have that correctly in my mind, being the first temporary ice oval. So again, these are all great technologies and innovations that are helping us to deliver world-class events in ways that are just different and makes it possible.
Super, yeah, so let's go to the lady with apologies, yeah, the one behind who grabbed the microphone first, and then we'll go to Wakako and then over here, yeah.
A question for the President, Christina Hearn from Channel 9 Australia. It's been revealed that the operating budget for Brisbane 2032 has blown out substantially because of the spread out nature of the Games. Do you still believe that model is the correct one moving forward?
In terms of the spread out, you're saying?
The dispersed nature of the Olympics.
Okay. So I think we're really experiencing a little bit more spread out games here for the first time. And we already have put a number of things into place in order to capture all the data. And I think we're going to learn a lot. We heard today, and we actually spoke about this exact thing in the members' workshop this afternoon, that we took the decision to have a more spread out games to try and be more sustainable for many different reasons, climate being one of them, and venues and not having new venues, right? But we are seeing that there is a little bit of impact on NOCs because of the spreadness, right? And that's, we've had to, I guess it's maybe shifted a little bit, different responsibilities onto some of the different stakeholders, which has made it a little bit harder for them. The NOCs we're definitely hearing from. I can say broadcasting and media. I'm sure you guys having to try and get all around. It's possible, and I know it's possible because I'm doing it, but it will be a long 2 weeks, right, because of the travel time. But what's really cool is you're going to get to see world-class venues in the most iconic, beautiful places. And I think that is, again, what we were discussing with the members today is how now do we weigh this up? Right? What's the priority? How are we going to find the balance between a spread games in order for sustainable reasons? And does that shift complexities to other stakeholders? How can we balance that out where we're not shifting that complexity and we're not shifting the sustainability into different areas? So I don't have all the answers. If you guys have answers or some ideas, please share them with us. But it's something that I think we're going to learn a lot from. And as I said, the team and Kristoff and his team in Games have already started setting up ways in which we're going to be able to measure specific things during these games so that we can have those conversations moving forward.
Pretty comprehensive answer. Kristoff, did you want to add anything, or you don't have to?
Mark, if you say it's comprehensive, it means no, do not add anything.
It means she spoke too long. I'm just kidding.
Okay, let's go to Wakako, and then we're going to go to Rob from Sky after that. Yeah, so and then take a
Thank you. Wakako Yuki from the Yomiuri Shimbun. Could you talk a little bit of the consultation this afternoon? What sort of you saw, you try to seek the direction of those important areas, especially, for instance, did you see any indications to the future yourself in terms of program, Olympic program, as well as protection of gender, female category. And another issue, Mr. Gene Sykes yesterday talked about this visa link. And of course, as Sir Hugh talked about the importance of neutrality, no one argues that, but how to retain in this practical world, in this situation that we are facing today, that's the question. And do you think this visa link, for instance, for the LA 28 would give us scope as well as assurance that Olympic movement has been looking for? Thank you.
Thank you. On the first one with the consultations, as you know, we've got our 5 sort of key groups, key themes, so athletes, Olympic movement, Olympic Games, better world through sport, and revenue, reach and engagement. So we focused in on those, and we gave reports back to the members on all the consultations. So all the ideas, all the thoughts that have been shared with us on opportunities and challenges of each of those themes. They were quite long, they were quite voluminous, a lot of different concepts coming through. Definitely are able to see priority areas in each of the 5 key themes and groups and what that looks like. And when I say priorities, we can definitely see priorities where there's a lot of views that have been shared where we're all very aligned. Then there's multiple views. So it's not that we're not aligned, but we just all have slightly different ideas on how to get to the end result, which I think is also very good. And then there were a number of topics which were raised, but more out of a point of we're doing really well in this area, not really needing to do anything additional. So I think that clarity is very good for where we are right now. And now it's to take it to that next step of how are we going to use this to look at what we have today, take into consideration everything that's been shared with us, and realign where we want to go in the future. So that's that. Yes, you heard from LA 28 on Visa Link, and then you heard a number of questions like you just had now, and they gave the reassurances that this is something that they have purposely put into place for the LA 20 Games, but also for the FIFA World Cup. So we're looking forward to that. And as you made mention to Sir Hugh's comments in and around neutrality, and again, as you just said, not necessarily the question. We all know that there is neutrality, but our question is how to maintain that. And again, this is part of the discussions that we had in the consultations. We all agree that sport needs to remain neutral. And now how are we going to implement that, and what does that look like is what we're working on now.
Okay, Sky News over at the back there, and then we're going to come down here. Yeah, we're going to do Takafuma, then we're going to move along, and then we're going to come over here, I promise.
Hi, Rob Harris from Sky News.
Hi, Rob.
Hi. It's hard to escape the geopolitical backdrop, tensions with America, the Milan mayor calling the ICE agents a militia that kills. Would you see it as free speech and understand it if Americans were jeered in the opening ceremony, or do you have a message for them to be respected?
I hope that the opening ceremony is seen by everyone of an opportunity to be respectful towards each other, right? And for me, again, when we went to the village, that is just the best reminder of how we all should be. Because you see athletes from every walk of life, and We walked through some of the areas where they're getting to sort of have chill time and hangout time, and no one's asking what country they come from or what religion or what they like to do. They're all just hanging out, and it was so cool to see. But again, as I said, it was like a real opportunity to just put into perspective how we could be. And so for me, I hope that the opening ceremony will do that and will be a reminder to everyone of how we could be, and that's what I think these games will also bring. And just on a Russia-related question, the Italian government are concerned that there have been cyber attacks on things relating to the games. Do you have any information on that from your perspective?
To be honest, we don't comment on security. It's well known, it's best practice not to. So yeah, and I also don't have any information on that right now. So yeah. Thanks. Okay, let's go to Takafuma. These two here, and then I'm coming over here after that.
Hello, Takahumi Yoshida from Kyodo News. Question to President regarding consideration of moving Summer Olympic sports to Winter Olympic. How is your sense of crisis for Summer Olympics, huge sports and athletes numbers? So just so I have it correctly, it was, what was the question? From moving summer sports to winter sports and criteria? No, how is your sense of crisis for Summer Olympics, huge number of sports and athletes?
Oh, I don't think that there's a crisis in the summer sports or in the summer games. But I do think that we're at a point where we realize we've gone from 10,500 athletes to having over 11,500 athletes in LA. And I think even the Brisbane team shared with us that would not be a possibility for them in 2032, right? So I just think we're at a really good crossroads right now to be able to analyze that. And again, this was a big topic of discussion in the consultations and the workshop today in and around the Olympic program, but also the complexity that has, because it has ripple effects, right? And it is not. The Olympic program group are working really hard on trying to come up with different ways forward on how do we analyze and what does that look like. And one thing that is standing out is that as soon as we start adding venues, and I think this is probably something Kristoff could even talk to, that's when you start adding complexities and costs. And so again, how do we look at it collectively? Was really the question. But I think the timing is a good time to have those conversations, because we know that for Brisbane, we're not going to have 36 sports. Okay, so final two over here, AP and New York Times, and then, yeah, just these two. Yeah. Graham first.
Thank you very much. Graham Dunbar from Associated Press. A big evening on Friday, a sort of significant contact with the US government ahead of Los Angeles Olympics. I mean, what they're going to see in the opening ceremony are things like, gender equality and inclusion, which for many of their supporters back home would regard as woke and, not in a good way. And just, wondering what you hope they will see from the opening ceremony. Is there anything you would like to say to them in the evening, or what do you hope they will take away from the experience? What would you regard as sort of metrics for success for Friday evening?
Thanks for your question, Graham. I think it goes back a little bit to my answer to Robert. I hope that the opening ceremony for everyone watching is a really good showcase of possibilities, of inspiration, of a nice reminder of how we could act towards each other and how we can do that respectfully. And I think that's everything that we see. And the Olympic torch has been going around Italy, and you just look, I mean, you guys are producing some of these videos and these pictures, right? I don't know, like the faces of the intergenerational fans that are coming out and watching the flame and getting excited. And that I think is what the games and the Olympic Games represent. And so I hope anyone that's watching can feel that energy and that excitement and that passion and can be invigorated by it.
Yeah.
Tariq, you feeling invigorated?
I'm always feeling invigorated when you're around. We'll talk later. Good evening, Kirsty. Nice to see you. Yesterday, it was interesting to see you've got a lot of Olympics already lined up. We saw Brisbane come through the little mix zone you had there. We had the French Alps, Salt Lake City. What we didn't see was the next Olympics, LA 2028. And one of the reasons could be there's an aura of scandal around the CEO, president, the leader of that, Casey Wasserman. The IOC is very much into, Olympic values, conduct, and behavior. Officials, politicians in LA are calling for him to resign over his details of his emails in the Epstein files. I'm sure you're aware of all of this. Is this the man that should be a figurehead for a major Olympic Games, given everything that we know now? We tried to talk to him yesterday. We didn't let him do the mix zone, so we can't even ask anything. Where are you with this? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was my first question originally on the first press conference. And again, Casey has put out a statement. I have nothing further to add on that. And I didn't know that they didn't come through the mix zone and speak to you. So when I see them, I'll ask them to find you guys and have a little chit-chat.
Okay, let's go over to this side now. Carl, I know you've been waiting everyone over here, so let's start with Reuters, Carlos Grohmann, and we'll... Yeah.
Thank you, Madam President. If I can follow up on Tariq and be a spoil sport, do you feel that Casey Wasserman is vulnerable at the moment or is a problem at the moment with the bid, given the whole Epstein association and what potentially can come from now every time he appears representing LA? Thank you very much.
No, look, I think as we said before, I think Casey's put out his statement and there's really nothing else for me to add. From the IOC point of view, the OCOG and how they are structured is not something that we are going to get involved into. So.
Okay, let's go, gentleman here. Yeah.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Madam President. Hiroki Tora from Asahi Shimbun. Question about the Fit for the Future. So will you be discussing moving up the starting date of the Winter Olympics, maybe into January? And if so, what are the pros and cons of it?
So you must have some good sources, because that was a recommendation or an idea that was given to the membership today during the consultations. Nothing has been decided. The consultations today and the workshop is really a time for the members to hear back some of the feedback. This was a recommendation that was given by a member in terms of when we're looking at climate and sustainability, there are potentially going to be need for us to look at adjustments of times. And specifically when this comment was made, in and around the Paralympics, because they're right now later in March, and that might be a way if we bumped things forward. But all of these ideas have been written down and taken note, and we're going to send it back into the working group. So there's not been any decisions or any final assessments made yet.
Let's go in here. We're going to go all the way along. Yes. Start with the lady here, and then we'll move back.
Thank you. The lady is Lisa Roche from Deseret News in Salt Lake.
I know I'm not supposed to say that, but you've changed your hair. So
well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. I am wondering if in the Fit for the Future discussions, where possible rotation of the Olympic Games is. That came up after the Utah 2034 presentation yesterday, that Utah may well be a model for that going forward. Is that something that is a focus? Was it discussed today? And where do you see the IOC going with that? Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. If my memory serves me correctly, I don't think it was discussed today in our consultations, but it was, as you said, it had been mentioned, and it had already been brought through the consultations by a number of different stakeholders that it's something that we should look at. As I said, now we're pivoting, so this is going to be one of those areas that we would need to do some serious work with the different stakeholders, with IFs, with NOCs, with athletes, to really see if that is a viable option for the future. But there were no decisions taken.
Is it something that we will see come out as these initial Fit for the Future reports are made public and those decisions are made?
It could be. I don't want to talk ahead as though anything's been decided, because really there's not been any decisions taken. But it is definitely something that we will work at and work with our relevant departments to find the right way to analyze that option and what that would look like, so that we're also just basing it off of facts. And what that would look like it was made very clear today by all the members that any of these discussions that we're having now, it can't just be for the next couple of years. We really have to look far down in the future and analyze what potentially could be a good decision now that would have greater benefits in the future. Thank you. You're welcome.
Sorry, Lisa, about that. Would you mind passing the microphone back? Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Mark. Rob Livingstone, GamesBids.com. I have a question probably for Kristoff here. So Switzerland presented under their privileged dialogue. And we know that's not a sure thing right now. So can you tell us about any other regions or areas that might be involved in continuous dialogue for either 2038 or beyond? Is there anything, are there any other cities or regions coming forward?
There were a number of them, Rob, and they were very disappointed at the time when we said that the executive board made that decision for that dialogue with Switzerland, because yes, we had interested parties, including in Asia. We had interested parties in Europe, and we said, sorry, not up until 42, unless, and that's the key point. Switzerland is not in a position to propose a complete dossier with all the guarantees. And they have just released now their projects with a master plan. All the regions will be consulted. Potentially, the government will have a look at this as well at the end of the year, and then we will know whether Switzerland in 27 will be in a position to say, yes, we have met all the requirements. And if not, it will be reopened, and there, no doubt, all those that were interested for 2038 will be back. The fact is, Madam President, that over time, with the changes that we have brought, that we are looking into, pros and cons, one thing has changed. It's the fact that the games certainly adapt to the regions that host them, and that is a major appeal. So I have no doubts we will have candidates.
So are you saying right now there's no ongoing dialogue for the Winter Games at all? It's just Switzerland and...
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Robert Kemper, ARD. Ms. Coventry, one question. Yesterday in your speech in this session, you emphasized that the IOC is a sports organization. You mentioned that the IOC's game is sport, and I'm quoting, that means keeping sport in neutral ground. Can you please explain why it was important for you to give this message? Was the IOC, in your point of view, not neutral enough in the past?
So really, the messaging there is, I think, very topical because of the world that we're living in today. And so I think it's a good reminder that sport needs to remain neutral. That was really all there was to it.
Let's go. Rachel, I think you've been waiting for a while, yeah, from L'Equipe, and then the gentleman to your left has been waiting a long time, so yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. If you don't mind, I will speak in French, because the President promised to learn before the French Alps.
Yes,
so
exactly. Good practice.
Je voulais savoir si vous étiez favorable à l'entrée des sports de montagne pour justement les prochains Jeux d'hiver dans les Alpes françaises, ce qui suppose de changer les statuts du CIO. Et que pensez-vous des turbulences qui agitent le comité d'organisation? Est-ce que vous vous dites que finalement les Alpes ont été attribuées un peu tôt, les Jeux ont été attribués un peu tôt aux Alpes? Voilà, est-ce que ça fait partie des réflexions? Je vous remercie.
Thank you. So in terms of agreeing with mountain sports, as you know, that's a discussion for the Olympic program working group, and they're looking at all scenarios. I'm not going to take a position point until they come back with the different information, well, not different information, with more information about the pros and cons of what that would look like. I know that there's federations that are obviously advocating for certain things, but we need to make decisions that are going to be best for the Olympic movement moving whole, and we're trying to just collect all the facts and to better understand the pros and cons of what sports in the mountain would look like, and if that would add value to the Olympic Games. And in terms of the challenges that maybe are being faced by the OCOG, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised because yesterday they were here with us and they gave us a wonderful presentation, and all the conversations that Kristoff has had with the various partners of the French Alps all seem to be very positive. So, you know, I think that these are really a great legacy also from Paris. The team are very committed, very passionate about these games, and are passionate about the mountains and what it can do and how it can help with being more sustainable and living in a sustainable manner. And I think those are all really good core values. So, yeah.
Okay, we're going to go gentleman here, and then I'm going to go back on this side. So right at the back, gentleman there, and then we'll come down. Yeah, just gentleman here. Question?
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Kristoff Becker, Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry.
Fine. That wasn't actually who I was pointing at, but there we go.
I'm sorry.
No.
I can, well, my question. Today was actually quite a historic moment when you, or when the IOC elected Saraya Aayi into the IOC as an IOC member, being the first Iranian woman ever being elected as an IOC member. Now, given the history of discrimination against women in Iran, and given the fact that several thousand Iranians have been killed over the last couple of weeks in their country, and the fact that there are Iranian groups actually calling for protests against the Iranian athletes representing their country at these games. I don't know if those protests will take place or not. What do you connect with her election to the IOC as an IOC member? Which kind of hope or what kind of approach do you connect with her being an IOC member now? And would you in future still accept that there are disciplines or sports that the Iranians refuse to compete in, or refuse to send women to compete at Olympic Games, such as swimming, for example?
Thanks for the question. Saraya is an incredible young lady who was a very good athlete and has been a really good coach over the last few years. I'm very proud to have her a part of the membership and a part of the IOC Athletes Commission and the IOC members. And I'm looking forward to her bringing, I had some time with her a couple of weeks ago over the phone, and then since being here, had a couple more moments with her, and we got to go into the village together, and we were just sharing experiences. And you know, I think from that you realize that we're so much more alike than we are different. So that really would be the connection for me, and I think she's going to be an incredible asset to the IOC.
Okay, we're going to go over this side now. Two at the back. Gentleman over there at the back. Have you got the microphone? Yep. Gentleman's had his hand up for a while. And then we'll come forward, and I think we'll probably get 2 or 3 more in, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. My name is Halvor Ekland from Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation. Could you, it's a question for the President. Could you please be a little bit specific on the possible sports of the Winter Olympics in the future? What is on the table? Could it be like basketball, handball, wrestling, boxing, some of these sports changing from summer to the Winter Olympics?
I would love to be able to do that for you at this point, but I can't because what I have asked the Olympic Program Commission is to really look at things with a complete, fresh, new piece of paper on, you know, if we were setting up this organization, what would it look like today? And then to take back all the feedback that we just shared with everyone today, and now they're going to start seeing where we align, where we don't align, what do we need to evolve, what does it need to change, and so I would love to be able to give that to you, but we're in the middle of all of those processes, so we don't have any specific fixed idea on sports.
Okay, I will try one more question to follow up some of the others here.
Move on to the next person, give another person a chance to ask a question. It's not an interview, I'm afraid. Yeah,
thanks. Briar Stewart from CBC News. Even as the games get set to get underway, there are more protests planned for here in Milan, including some against the Olympics themselves, others against the presence of ice. And I'm just wondering what your message would be to residents of the city that plan to demonstrate even as the games get underway. Thanks.
Thank you. So I think, again, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but watching the torch relay going across the country has been so inspirational. And it's now, if I'm correct, starting to come in to Milan. And, you know, we're starting to see the same kind of excitement building up and picking up. And I hope that, again, the games are a place where people can be reminded of the best of humanity and what that looks like, and they can be inspired. And so I hope that more and more people can feel that sort of magic and of what I think is the Olympic Games and what the Olympic Games bring. So yeah, hopefully everyone starts feeling that as we get closer to the opening ceremony.
You still want to ask a question, sir? Yeah, because you've been waiting a long time, and then we'll come across, Rachel. Yeah.
Yeah, one question on the Russian Olympic Committee. In October 2023, you suspended the Russian Olympic Committee because the IOC constituted the fact that the Russian Olympic Committee included the regional sports organization of Donetsk and the other regions. You constitute it as a breach of the Olympic Charter. So is this still the decisive question and the decisive point for the suspension of the Russian Olympic Committee? And does it mean that in the moment where these sport organizations leave the Russian Olympic Committee, that more or less automatically the suspension is lifted? Or is there any other key question for your decision that the Russian Olympic Committee is suspended?
So for the Russian Olympic Committee, the October 2023 decision still stands. As you know, we've kept in place the working, I'm trying to think of what the name are, for neutral athletes here, the same as in Paris, the same protocols, status is put in place for the athletes here, and that decision has not been spoke about in the last couple of EBs.
Yeah. Lady there, and then we'll go to Rachel. Yeah.
Emma Smith, BBC Sport. Currently in Abu Dhabi, athletes are gathering for a training camp for the enhanced games, including swimmers, your former sport. I was wondering what your thoughts are on the enhanced games, given that it seems to go against everything that the Olympics stands for.
Thanks. Well, I think the IOC, we've been pretty clear with our movement that safeguarding of athletes and athletes' health and well-being is a top priority. And that is the stance that we will continue to take. There are many different sports competitions around the world that abide by different rules and regulations, and they're free to continue to do that. But for us in the Olympic movement, we will continue to ensure the safety of our athletes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and then we'll come forward to Rachel. Yeah.
Jo Curry, BBC News. I understand the IOC was given a petition today signed by 21,000 people, including professional athletes, who want to stop fossil fuel companies from sponsoring winter sports events. How disappointed are you that Milano-Cortina 2026 has high carbon sponsors, given that the Winter Olympics is effectively under threat from climate change?
Thank you for the question, and Kristoff may be able to give a little bit more detail. Sorry, I was in this session all of today, and I just got a view of the letter now. Do you know what I think is really nice is that athletes have a platform to speak up and to say, hey, these are the things that we want to see you do better. And so for me, I think that's always a great thing. And the petition, I know that the team met with today, and they're having conversations with our team, and we're always going to try to be better and ask our stakeholders to be better. But that also takes time, right? That takes making different changes. But really, Kristoff, I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Not to the petition itself, except that we make a point first to receive those petitions, and we have met with people over time, including in the context of Japan and others. We meet with them. And we have to recognize one thing: climate is a challenge for all of us. As sport as well, we're not immune to those climate challenge, and we have to hear voices. And as you said, President, the athletes have a platform. This is the one, and it's their right. Now, what we have to do as an organization and in sport in general is to be at the forefront when it comes to sustainability. And our principles are very clear. If you look at the candidature back to 2038, theme 1 is sustainability and legacy. This is what it's about. It's best practices. We were mentioning the innovations in China, new cooling and refrigerants. It's here. We have temporary electricity, yes, but we have non-fossil fuel as well, and that really matters. We have to be at the forefront. So that's the position that we have explained as well. And again, we have received that petition, and this is how we envisage the future, hearing opinions and continue to be at the forefront. That is fundamental.
Okay, I know it's been a very long day and certainly not over yet for the President, so we're going to make a last question here. Thank you.
Rachel Axon, Sports Business Journal. Question for Kirsty. With the loss of 5 top sponsors last year, the revenue statements yesterday showed the lowest total since 2020, $560 million. How are you feeling about the state of that program as you're reviewing it as part of this process? What is the difficulty in doing that when the contracts extend as far out as they do? And would you wait to add any new sponsors? You know, Kristoff mentioned discussions with them until you had whatever changes or framework come out of that working group.
Yeah, good question. We're always going to continue to have conversations with as many people as we can when it comes to potential top partners, but we're having that with them, right? So we've had a dedicated time with our existing tops and partners now to walk through where we see ourselves and how we see ourselves moving in the future, and what that looks like for them, what that looks like for us. And for me, that's the core foundation of that, is we've got to have that really good collaboration on what tops are expecting from us, what we're expecting from them, and how we're going to evolve. You know, you all know that the world is changing so fast, especially with technology and data and AI and everything else. So all companies, including organizations, have to keep evaluating, and that's really where we are. So they've been really, I think we had 100% of our media rights holders and tops give us feedback on where we should be moving and what that should look like. And we're going to fully take that on board and have the discussions that you just spoke about of how do we both need to evolve together to really create success for both.
Thank you very much. I think we got to 20-something questions there, so thank you very much. Apologies to those who didn't get their questions. There will be more opportunities in the future, so thank you very much. And thank you, Kristoff, as well.